Well, welcome back to Season 5 of IELTS FACE-OFF. This is number 5 already. Isn't it amazing? Well, you know, we have a lot of new things for you every season, ladies and gentlemen. And one of the amazing things that we have for you this season is that I have a new co-host. You might have seen him before, but you're going to see him again and again. Michael Liu, where are you?
Hello there. Hi.
Michael, it's so great to have you back.
It's so great to have you back too. Hug it out, sister. You know what? The reason why I've decided to be so nice to you this season is because I realized that I couldn't beat you. So if you can't beat them, you join them, right?
Okay, so I bet you're not going to be so daring in this episode anymore, like you were last year.
Well, that's me daring to be someone new, daring to be, you know, a different Michael this season.
Well, you know what? I think before we get to meet our guests and before we get to meet our topic this episode, I would really want to introduce some interesting new things in this season.
Okay, cool.
Right? We continue to have gifts for our audience. We continue to be on social media, on Facebook, on YouTube. We will also be on TikTok. So if you are able to, you know, move it, you can send all of your materials to us. We're going to love to have you.
Show us the moves.
And we're still going to have gifts and presents and opportunities for our viewers to come to the studio to be part of the show.
Sounds excellent enough. We're all hyped for this season already. Now, can we dive back to the bit where we talk about who the guest is? Because I heard she's rather beautiful.
Oh, you've been so excited about this guest. And I'm excited too, and you guys, I know, will be excited as well.
To find out who she is, why don't you take a look at the video we have just in store for you.
Hi guys,
Ta-da!
my name is Lương Thùy Linh, and I was crowned Miss World Vietnam 2019. I am currently a student at Foreign Trade University, majored in International Business Economics. Before becoming a beauty queen, I spent most of my time studying to have good performance at school and to achieve IELTS score 7.5. During my reign, I have done and obtained certain things, but what makes me most proud of is my Beauty with a Purpose journey. I will not spoil you guys now, but everything will be revealed in this episode of IELTS Face-Off in just a moment. Stay tuned!
All right, so shall we call her into the studio and grace her with our love?
Of course. Come on out, Ling.
Give it up for Lương Thùy Linh! Okay, I am just going to try to keep as far away from this, just because I feel a bit intimidated by the height now. All right.
I'm so excited to have you on the show today. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for our whole audience to be able to see, you know, a beauty queen, a very popular one, to be brave enough to go on an English-speaking show and just really share her story. I think it's great to be vulnerable, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm also excited to be in the show today.
It's wonderful. Mike, I know you've been super, super excited to have Lương Thùy Linh on the show.
Now that we're all here together, could you just, you know, share with us how you ended up here, how you ended up being the person that you are today?
Well, recently I shared a post on my Facebook about my Miss World Vietnam 2019 journey, and it is exactly what happened. I just received lots of encouragement from my friends and even my university teacher. I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. And so it went. I took part in the competition, I did my best, and eventually got the highest prize and the title Miss World Vietnam 2019. Everything happened to me was so amazing. It was such an amazing experience that I would never ever forget. I remember the coronation night. I was crying when they called my name for the final result, while I still have to walk and wave all the audiences. that was such a memorable experience I will never ever forget.
Now, you mentioned that you were a little bit surprised or a bit shocked to find out that you'll be crowned that night. What did you expect of a Beauty Queen competition, of a pageant, before you participated in it? What did you imagine it to be? And what was the reality like? Was it exactly like what you expected, or how different was it?
It was totally different from what I expected it would be. At first, I thought beauty pageant would be really, really easy, just photo shooting, filming, walking around. But actually, it turned out we have a lot of photo shooting, filming. Besides that, we also have many, many community works. But it's really, really fun to do it with all the girls.
One of the things that I think, to invite you here, first of all, we want to showcase, of course, to the world and to the Vietnamese audience that, there is brain, beauty, and a consciousness that can all be together, in one person. You are from the northern mountainous region of Vietnam, and you're doing a lot of community work for all of these kids. Now, of course, a lot of people are going to ask you about whether you're confident about your looks, and that's a question we'll talk about later. But are you confident in being able to create real and true value to a lot of these mountainous communities?
Back when I was in grade 8, I started a small community work that I saved my small changes to give to an orphanage in my hometown, and that's when I start my Beauty with a Purpose. It continues until now. I think that after I got the prize and I got the title as Miss World Vietnam 2019, I got more chances to enlarge my community works, to reach out further to the underprivileged, not only in my hometown, but many, many other provinces in not only Vietnam, but also in the world. And I'm so glad that I can do something to better off this world.
Very nice. Now, I'm a very competitive person. You all know that. So I love competitions. And I haven't had the privilege of participating in a Miss World contest ever. So could you share with us what it was like to be on that stage, to sort of shout out Vietnam, to represent the country of your home? What was it like?
Actually, you can take part in Mr. World, I think.
You have to be single, unfortunately, and I'm already locked in.
You lost the chance. I'm very proud to be raising our flag, the flag of Vietnam, in such a world stage. It's such an amazing journey, and it's such an amazing experience for me to be on such a huge stage when I was just 19. At first, I think it would be really hard to talk in front of the world, but it turned out that I just bring my nation pride, my patriotism out there, and everything is fine.
On that world stage, when you were representing Vietnam, of course, I'm sure in your head you're thinking about what can I do to make my country proud. But was there any sense of, of yourself in the whole process? Did you ever think about I want to make sure that I shine so that my country shines. I want to make sure I get along with all of the girls. So my question is, what were some of the experiences at Miss World? What went through your head when you participated in the competition?
Well, I think the whole journey is so memorable. I have so many precious experiences when I took part in Miss World. But I think the most memorable moment and the most precious one is when in the final night when I wear the traditional clothes and I have to dance on the stage among 120 other nations, and it's so emotional to bring your flag and your national costume there.
Vietnam!
But because this season is all about daring to do something. So obviously you must have had some memorably challenging and terrifying moments in that competition. Were there any of those moments at all? And how did you overcome the fear when it happened?
Actually, I have always been a sleepyhead. So I think the most terrifying thing that I have to do when I become a beauty pageant title holder is that I have to stay up late, and the next morning I have to wake up very, very early. Sometimes I have to wake up at 2 a.m. just to make up and getting things done before shooting.
Wow, that's a lot of hard work, right? You know, they see everything is perfect, but they don't know the work that goes behind the whole process. So right now, you know, when you think about confidence for girls, right, and for the youth in Vietnam, why do you think Vietnamese people are not so confident yet?
Well, I think they're not feeling confident because they don't believe in themselves, because they receive so many negative comments about maybe their appearance or their ability. And I think that the first thing to change that is to just tell them that just believe in yourself. But it's not enough. I think that after you believe in yourself, you have to put so much hard work on it to make it happen.
Has your confidence changed since you became Miss World Vietnam, or has it always been the same?
At the beginning of Miss World Vietnam 2019 journey, I was so shy, so hesitant to do anything. And at that time, I was not so confident about myself because I was too tall.
That's ironic, isn't it? You're not confident because you're tall.
Yeah, a lot of men feel intimidated by that.
During the journey, I met so many people that are so confident about themselves, even though they don't have the height like me, they don't have like beautiful appearance or something, stuff like that, but they are still confident, they still believe in themselves, and I think that's what makes them so attractive. So that's why I stopped telling myself that I cannot and I'm not beautiful, and I start telling myself that yes, you can, and that's when I start like believe in myself more and feel more confident.
So are there any public figures or any inspirational people that have sort of told you that you can?
When I was younger, when I was at school, some friends told me that I was a monster because I was too tall back then. I was like this and they was like this. They told me that I'm not pretty and I'm like monster in their eyes.
Oh no. Well, that boy, where's that boy now?
No, actually it's girls.
It was a girl. Wonder where she is at the moment. What she would say if she was here right now. But what I meant is, are there any people that you sort of look up to, that you see as inspiration for becoming who you are and doing what you're doing right now?
I think everyone can teach me something and they can be an inspiration for me. But I think that the role model that I am following is my mother. She's good at her work, of course, and beside that, she can manage all the family stuff very well.
That was the answer that was worth crowning for the second time. By the way.
Thank you.
Okay, Phoebe, have you got anything else?
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of our audience and everybody who's going to watch the show, they're all very curious about English as a tool for you. You managed to get to the level of an IELTS 7.5. You took the IELTS before.
Yeah, I did.
So how did you do that? And were you a very studious and nerdy student in school?
I'm not that nerdy. I think here's a little tip. I think diligence is a key. And I think that you should know why you learn English. For example, you learn English just to look cooler than those who don't speak English well. Or you learn English just to understand the lyrics of the English songs that you like. And beside that, I also suggest that you should set goals to your English journey. For example, before you go to bed today, you have to write down what you have to do tomorrow, such as learning 10 pages of English grammar. And the next morning when you wake up, you have to finish it. Otherwise, you have to punish yourself, like 10 pages more.
So what songs, now that you've mentioned music, what songs have prompted you to improve your English better, to get the meaning of the song?
Every song is an inspiration for me, but I really love How Far I'll Go by
Moana.
Yeah, Moana. I love that movie.
Now back to your English journey. I think you're going to be, I know that you are doing a lot of community work for the young, but I also know that many youths in Vietnam will look up to you because you can speak English and you can do it very well. How do you see, the language being a tool for you to live your life or to help the community?
Well, I think the main purpose of a language is to communicate and connect people with each other. So when I start learning English, one of the reasons why I learn English is that I want to communicate with foreign friends so that I can understand more cultures. And beside that, after I become a beauty queen, I think that it could help me on my beauty with purpose journey, as I can call for some assistance from outside of Vietnam so that they can help the underprivileged in our country.
How do you see, what are some of the areas that we can expect to see you being involved in the near and in the far future?
Well, I'm always in the mood for trying new things, but I think I'll start with modeling first. When I was a kid, I was so amazed by how gracefully the models walk on the runway. I remember spending the whole day watching every fashion show on the fashion channel just to figure out how to move like them. And I feel really happy and lucky that I now become a beauty pageant title holder, so I got more chances to be on the runway, to be on the magazines, and to meet creative people.
Wonderful. I think right now is a perfect time for us to actually direct the questions to the audience. And let's see what types of questions are available for our Miss Vietnam, Miss World Vietnam.
Hello, Lee. I have a question for you. Like you said before, in your near future, you are gonna be try modeling. But besides that, there is something about. Do you plan something about singing or being actress, or maybe become an MC or something?
Thank you for your question. Actually, I'm really interested in becoming a host of a show. So I think I will learn MC. And besides that, I'm still a university student, major in international business economics. So I think when I graduate, I will apply what I study at Foreign Trade University to run my own business. And well, I think that I'm always ready for what life is going to throw at me. So I just leave and go with the flow.
She mentioned MCing. Is my job in danger?
Well, think about it this way. Maybe you'll have another co-host on the IELTS Face-Off show.
Oh, next to this one, the entire country now know you as Miss World Vietnam 2019. How do you want Lương Thùy Linh to be known?
Lương Thùy Linh is actually Miss World Vietnam 2019. What I'm showing people is who I really am. I'm not hiding anything. I'm still a university student, love hanging out, love to chit-chat, blah, blah, blah. I'm still me. The title doesn't change me.
I think it's a good time for us to go. It's really a good time for us to go into the IELTS Face-Off Challenge. And I'm so excited to be able to challenge you to some fun games that we always do here on every episode. IELTS Face-Off Challenge, coming right up next. Don't go anywhere. It's now the perfect time for us to go into the IELTS Face-Off Challenge, in a challenge of singing, because we've seen you sing, and now we'd like for you to sing for us. So what song will you be singing?
Well, my favorite song is How Far I'll Go by Moana, so I'm gonna sing this song.
See the lights as it shines on the sea is blinding, but no one knows how far it goes. And it seems like it's calling out to me, so come find me and let me know. If I go there, just no telling how far I'll go.
Well, wonderful to have you in our challenges and also in our talk. And I think before we say goodbye to our audience, let's invite you back into the middle of the stage and we'll say a final thanks. Now, before we go, do you have favorite words or idioms in English you'd like to share with our audience? And the topic is Dare to be Confident.
My favorite idiom about this topic is color outside the line. It means that everyone can make a mistake, which is only human.
Well, in this season, we're going to continue our show in the IELTS on the Go section. Now, we know that the show visited Kabang when you were still a student, and you weren't able to come out to see us.
Yeah, I was preparing for an exam.
Well, for this season, for all the students that are taking exams, we're still going to be visiting your town. So take a look of IELTS on the Go.
So today I want to share to you the moment that I've never done before. It is the time where I confessed to my crush. And so fortunately he agreed to say yes, and we were finally a couple for a long time. But eventually we broke up and we're not together anymore. So I guess it's not really a happy ending, but it's a really good story to share. And that's my dare to do moment.
Well, guys, the talk with Lương Thùy Linh was so much fun, and because she's such a beautiful model and Miss Vietnam, I felt like I needed to be, well put together. But being comfortable is not just about playing dress up. I think one of the most interesting times in which women feel comfortable is when they wear their normal clothes. And it's this type of clothing for me. It's very loose, and not only am I going back into my comfort zone, but I'm changing to show you something. And it's a little bit of magic. Do you want to see some magic? If you want to see some magic, follow me. Well, guys, I'm here in the control room. As you can see, this is a very brightly lit room with fancy equipment and fancy screens and fancy people. And this person, guys, is Anh Phát. Hello, Anh Phát. He's the DOP, and what does DOP stand for, guys? It's Director of Photography. Anh Phát, can I have this seat, please? Thank you. As you can see, everybody, in the IELTS Face-Off show knows English because they actually watch the show. And now, I'm gonna show you some magic. You wanna see some magic? Okay, shh. I'm gonna show you some right now. Shh. Watch here, watch here. Ladies and gentlemen, now's the time. The curtains will open, and you will see the one and only, the only incredible, the talented, the mighty, the spectacular, the one and only IELTS guru of Vietnam, Đăng!
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm chuffed and terrified at the same time. I hope they don't kick me out of the show after this episode. But in all seriousness, today I would like to talk to you guys about control. It's something that came to me as I was driving and controlling my vehicle on the way to the studio. This is one of my favorite sections on the show, IELTS on the Go. And a big part of the reason is because I used to be on it, and that seems like a distant memory now. However, I'm very happy to welcome back our returning IELTS on the Go host, Miss Nguyễn Thảo Tâm. And after hobnobbing in the UK, she's ready to come back to Vietnam, and she has traversed our beautiful country. She went to many beautiful different places. And the place in this episode is definitely one of my favorite destinations in Vietnam and one of my IELTS on the Go highlights. However, she will not be alone. She will be accompanied by our trusty friend, Elsa Speak, the unique artificial intelligence app that helps you perfect your English pronunciation 24/7. So let's follow along and see where she is.
Hi, welcome to the very first episode of IELTS FACE-OFF of Season 5, and I am Thảo Tâm. I am hosting On The Go, as you know, for this season. And this season, we're all about experimentalism, and we're all about traveling, and all about our very dear guests. And today, I'm in Đà Lạt, here with AI 24/7 AI English speaking coach by Elsa Speak, and also with this very beautiful young lady. Let me introduce her to you. Actually, let her introduce herself to you guys.
Hi everyone, my name is Kim Hoon. I'm 18 years old and I'm living in Đà Lạt.
Okay, Kim Hoon from Đà Lạt. I love asking our guests that come to this show what they love about their own city. So what do you love about Đà Lạt?
Well, I was born and raised in Đà Lạt, and there are many reasons why I fell in love with the city. But I think I would choose the two top reasons why Đà Lạt has a special place in my heart. The first thing is the atmosphere. I mean,
The atmosphere.
it is very fresh, and as you can see today we have a little bit of sunshine. The weather is cool.
It's mild, but it's
mild,
not too...
It never gets scorching hot.
Yeah, exactly.
And as you can see, cherry blossoms are in their full bloom, so it is very romantic.
Oh,
right?
romantic. And we're taking a stroll down together.
Yeah.
I have my hoa sim, my very special flower.
Well, you know what?
But I don't have Ngưỡng with me, so that's a bit sad. But okay.
No, but you have me.
I have you. What's your second reason for loving Đà Lạt?
Well, I have to say the architecture.
The
I
architecture.
love the architecture. Actually, one of my friends told me that houses in Đà Lạt look exactly like doll houses.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same?
Yeah, it's true, because like every single house is about 2 or 3 stories tall. It's not too tall, but it's very wide because there's a lot of land. So yeah, there's a lot of space for architectural creativity.
Well, Đà Lạt was initially established as a resort, like a recreational destination for the French as well as the Ngưỡng dynasty. So that is probably the reason why the architecture is still heavily influenced by the French architecture. And every house has like poetic vibes to it, with the vines and flowers and all these stuff like twisting and climbing on the fences. So I find those look so poetic and very scenic.
Well, I also want to ask you a bit about Đà Lạt nature, the fauna of Đà Lạt. As you see, I'm very well decorated right now because they have so many flowers and it's just growing wild, right? So you can pick them and it just like blooms back up, like 5 more beautiful flowers just bloom right back up. So what do you think about Đà Lat's nature, about its trees and its flowers that makes it so special?
Well, the most famous species in Đà Lạt is probably the pine trees. And I think it is because of the well-preserved environment here that trees and flowers can grow comparatively more easily than in other areas. And also considering the weather pattern, it is very ideal for the flora and the fauna and all the species. I think it's beautiful living here with this fresh atmosphere.
Yeah, it's so peaceful. And that kind of brings us back to how living green is very important to everyday life. And because the going green movement is ever strong since the upcoming years.
Yeah. Right.
Because we are more aware of the environment, we are more aware of the impact that we have on the environment, and we're taking very big steps, big strides into creating a more friendly and cooperative living space for both humans and the rest. We do have a friend on this trip with us, and that friend is called Elsa Speak. So I would like to introduce Hương here to Elsa, and we're gonna be talking about a topic that we've been talking about all this way up the staircase, and it's gonna be about the environment. This time, we are gonna be using the Elsa app to register some vocabulary concerning the topic of going green. So let's go to do that.
Let's go.
Let's go.
With Elsa Speak, you can learn thousands of practical vocabulary. Earth conscious.
Earth conscious.
Excellent.
Renewable.
Renewable.
Sustainability.
Sustainability.
Yep. Right, so that is us learning with Elsa Speak for the very first time on season 5. And thank you so much for learning about going green with me. What are we gonna do next?
Next up, I will take you guys to this place where we can immerse ourselves in the breathtaking nature. So what are we waiting? Let's go!
Let's go! Let's go!
Now, Đà Lạt is undoubtedly beautiful, but in addition to the glorious vistas of hills and mountains, something that particularly struck me when I visited this city was the ability of the locals to speak beautiful English. And in this season, in keeping with the Dare to Do spirit, we are going to challenge not only our guest, but also our host to things that they have never experienced before, with the help of our friend Elsa Speak. So let's see what these challenges are.
Okay, so here we are on the first IELTS on the Go challenge of this season. And can you tell me a bit about where we are?
Hey guys, we are about to challenge ourselves on an exhilarating adventure. Welcome to Đà Lạt High Rope Course.
Okay, so I'm guessing we're gonna have to put ourselves on the to the test because it's gonna be quite physically demanding, I think.
Yes, it is. This is a very ecstatic outdoor activity that makes a perfect stress relieving occasion with friends and family. So today we're gonna challenge ourselves with obstacles like traversing or rappelling and also sliding across these zip lines.
Okay.
And it's gonna be a little bit arduous.
Just a little bit arduous. Okay, so we have a fitness model here with us and we're making friends, and I hope this is gonna be a perfect bonding activity because we'll be screaming together. Most likely myself loud. But like, I am so excited and we're gonna go suit up right away. So let's go. This hurts a bit, but it's very fun. And I feel like I'm floating on air. Not really, but you know, you get the idea. Not really, but. Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm walking. I'm still moving, so I think that's good. The ground beneath me is shaking, but I kind of feel graceful. So, so this is what happens when you don't practice on the daily. I had a prince come and rescue me. My Yang is waiting over there. I'm not coming anytime soon.
Well, I guess Yang has to wait until tomorrow.
Yeah, he does. Yep. You just go ahead. You go ahead. I'll catch up very soon.
Little mermaid being caught in a fish net.
Hold on.
What a big fish I caught today.
I want this game to be complete. Okay.
Let's go.
Our baby girl is going to make a leap of faith down the trees to the drone.
Yay!
Almost forgot English for one second.
Did you feel the rain splashing into your face?
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
Right.
I'm so done with this entire channel and show and everybody involved.
But we conquered it.
Yeah, we did. Woohoo! Wait, hold on. Oh. Oh, wait, I have to. Safety first, safety first. Okay.
Wait.
So.
What does it say?
I've reached the ending. I'm very tired. This is the first episode, and this is the first piece of yellow paper. So I've been told by the producer that we have to have the vocabulary of the day, or phrase of the day, or the idiom of the day for every single episode. And it will show us something new on our English journey.
All right.
Okay.
Endurance.
All right, so the secret word of today is endurance. And the irony is palpable. But also we have a friend who is here with us today, who was very vigilant. And she's gonna help us look up the word. Her name is Elsa Speak. She's right here. Okay, so I will need you to help me read this word into the microphone and see if they recognize the word. Okay.
Endurance.
This ultimate dictionary helps you pronounce all the words you need.
And the meaning of the word is the fact or power of enduring an unpleasant or difficult process or situation without giving away.
Okay, so that was what we did today, right?
I think it was only you. I got rescued once.
Hey
I had to sleep on the net twice and got rescued once by a prince.
That was sexy.
Thank you. But we had a very fun day. And also my girl right here endured. She's very tall and very fit. So I think that's why. So this day just brings to us even more emphasis on why physical strength and everyday practice is very important to our daily life, and also being an MC for VTV7 for some reason.
Yay.
So thank you, you guys, for accompanying us on the IELTS on the Go challenge on the very first episode. See you on the next ones. Bye.
So the word of today's show is endurance, which is obviously neither an easy nor difficult word to pronounce correctly. But if you want to master your English pronunciation, download the Elsa Speak app. Personally, for me, I think it's a little bit better than using simply a dictionary because it gives you instant feedback on how well you pronounce the word. So we really look forward to seeing how you guys enjoying the app. And please send us pictures of you pronouncing the words on the show. Do not cheat, because we'll know. Anyway, the next section is Ielts Expert, so stay tuned.
And my day-to-do moment in the 2020 is to climb the fancy bunk mountain on foot without the help of any cable cars. And no matter how long it will take, or no matter how hard it is, I will accept it.
Welcome back to IELTS FACE-OFF. My name is Chương, Đăng, and this is IELTS Expert. In this section, we're going to ask an authority on the IELTS test to come on the show and talk to us about the ins and outs of the test and hopefully help you get the band score that you're after. So let's get to know the in-house IELTS advisor for this season, Mr. Michael Alpa. How you doing, man?
Doing well.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Did I butcher your last name?
No, it's all right. Alpa. Yeah.
Alpa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's 3 silent letters at the end of my last name, so
okay.
It can be a little difficult to pronounce, but you did fine.
Okay. Woo! So, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing really well.
Okay.
It's pretty hot up here in Hanoi right now, but it's great to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on the show. We're honored. And so before we ask you for any IELTS tips, we just want to get to know you a little bit. So where are you from originally?
I'm from the United States. Grew up in Los Angeles, California, and then I moved to Tampa, Florida when I was in high school, and my family's still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you move to Vietnam?
I moved to Vietnam in 2016.
Okay.
But I've been living abroad now since about 2007.
Oh.
So I actually came to Vietnam for a teacher training course over the summer, and I just fell in love with it. And then I went back to Korea where I was living at the time.
Okay.
And then 3 months later, I decided to move to Vietnam. So
okay.
I really fell in love with it, and
okay.
I've been here ever since.
Speaking of students, you can't see them right now, but there are a bunch, behind the screen, just waiting to hear your pearls, your IELTS pearls.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
So let's drop some knowledge. But first, we're going to take a look at the screen to see the question of the day. So first of all, we're going to have a little trivia for the audience as well as the viewers, and afterwards we're going to talk a little bit about the answer to the question and what we can learn from it. Okay, so without further ado, let's see the question. Can I write as many words as I want for all answers? I think this is the reading and listening test.
Interesting.
Okay. So for gap fill questions, okay, can I write as many words as I want? Yes or no? All right, so this is something really fundamental to IELTS preparation. I'm sure everyone who has done the test can answer this question pretty easily. Okay, so obviously the answer is no.
Yeah.
There's a word limit on gap fill questions.
Right. So this one's pretty straightforward. The directions will tell you how many you're supposed to write. So just follow the directions, and there you go.
Often I find the kind of the word limit can be a pretty good barometer to scan for like the correct word or phrase.
Yeah,
like if you find that exact number of words, it's very likely to be the answer.
Right. So you can kind of use that as a way to maybe help you out. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But
okay.
No, you don't want to write a paragraph for the answer. Yeah.
What I think is, and for gap fill questions, obviously, it has to make sense grammatically. I also think that's a pretty good indicator of whether your answer is correct or not.
Yeah, and also another question that I'm sure you get too, spelling is important, obviously, right? So the word has to be spelled correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have to capitalize exactly like in the paragraph? Or?
No, you can write in all caps or as long as the spelling's correct.
Okay, so lowercase or uppercase doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's some really useful information. Now we're going to move on to Voice of the Week. All right, so you're new to the show.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so every season we do this thing called Voice of the Week. It's basically a speaking challenge. And in light of the pandemic, we unfortunately don't have a live audience, and we cannot do the test here physically. But by the power of the internet, we have the opportunity to reach even more candidates. And a lot of people very bravely sent us videos, and you're going to chat to one of them today. Actually, you're going to examine one of them
That's
today.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So are you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous, but I'm sure
You've been doing this for a while.
A little bit, yeah. I've done enough, but I'm sure the candidate is probably a little nervous. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to know our candidate.
Hi guys, I'm Chang, and today I'm gonna show you my favorite dish in my hometown. I'm living in Hanoi now, so it's famous for a lot of food. We have uncha, we have bánh tôm, bánh cuốn, a lot of food. But my favorite dish is also the most popular dish in my hometown. That is pho. So let's try pho. Let's go.
And of course, it's about food, right?
Okay. a fellow Hanoian, and obviously, as we can see, a pho connoisseur.
Yeah, everybody's favorite topic.
You've had your fair share of pho, right?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Have you had like the northern?
I've had it a few times when I came up here. So it's like the chicken pho. What I usually eat is the southern. I'm in Ho Chi Minh City, so.
All right, cool. Yeah. So now you'll get a chance to talk. Actually, the candidate will have a chance to talk to you.
Right.
You will give her some feedback after a mini simulation test, and we're going to see how she does.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Hello, Chan, and welcome to the speaking test. Let's start with part 1. Do you often stay in hotels?
Well, I think that many people have to stay in a hotel very often because of their work. But now I'm a student and I'm living in Hanoi. My school is also in Hanoi, so I don't need to stay in hotel or dorm. I remember the longest time I stayed in hotel was about 5 months ago when I traveled to Đáng city, which is one of the most beautiful city in Vietnam with my parents. And well, I just had to stay in hotel for about once or twice a year when I travel to another city or another country.
I'm going to give you a topic and I'll give you 1 minute to prepare. I'd like you to talk about someone you met who was interesting.
Okay, so I definitely want to tell you about my crush, who was probably the most interesting guy on earth that I know. Well, we used to study in the same high school, but now he's pursuing his career in Ho Chi Minh City, and I'm socializing in education in Hanoi. Also, through that we are working in two separate parts of the country, but I still have a deep crush on him. Back in my high school day, he was total catch, and everyone showed their affection for him, and I'm not an exception. Well, the thing which made me into him so much is his bright smile and his interesting fashion style. Whenever my crush smiled, he always looked cuter, more charming and more lovable. And it's no exaggeration to say that his bright smile could lighten my day. What's more is the way he spoke in gentle tone is truly made my heart melted. And he seemed to have a good sense of style, and he was able to express his individuality through everything he wore, from his jacket to his shoe. I guess it's not so expensive, but it looked perfectly appropriately with his body type. Because of the long distance, I can't meet him face to face regularly. Actually, we only meet once a year when in the Union Festival at my high school. However, we still keep in touch with each other on Facebook and Instagram. That is all I want to say.
All right, let's move on to part 3. Let's talk about age and meeting people. Where do adults and teenagers usually meet their friends?
I'm a teenager, and I think that young adults and teenagers are often meet their friends in cafe or food court and so on, because it's very convenient and comfortable to talk with each other. For some special occasion, we will meet a friend when we will meet a friend in restaurant for the formal atmosphere.
Thank you very much. That is the end of the speaking test.
Okay, so the first thing that strikes me was how fluid her answers were. They were really easy to follow.
Right, she was very easy to follow, seemed very comfortable answering all of the questions. She extended her answers well. So she had some pretty good fluency there.
Could you give like an example of like a well-extended answer?
Yeah, she was still able to talk about the question. She wasn't hesitating or panicking about it. And she was still able to answer it completely without even really being knowledgeable about it.
Yeah.
So I tend to get that question a lot. You know, what do I do if I'm not familiar with the topic? And you know, you should still be able to talk about things even though you don't know the exact every detail about something, right?
Yeah, that's not going to be any fact-checking live at the speaking test.
Right.
So you just like, of course, you shouldn't be like making up like pretty wild stuff, but you could give your own perspective on it. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. So she gave some really good answers there. Yeah.
So what areas do you feel could be improved?
So she did have some minor grammatical mistakes that are going to kind of prevent her from getting a higher band score. Some of them are pretty systematic, you know, be verbs, the simple past, and they were really noticeable after a while. It was the same mistakes again and again. And the examiner is going to notice that, and it's really going to prevent you from getting higher than a 6. Overall, she did pretty well.
Congratulations, Trang. I think you will have an amazing chance at scoring the score that you are after in the actual test. And remember, guys, you can vote for Trang at the Voice of the Year competition by the end of the season. And the winner will get to go to Sydney for 1 week, all expenses paid, to Macquarie University to visit the campus and the beautiful city of Sydney. Lots of good coffee.
That's a great prize.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So remember to vote for your favorite candidate.
Answers to the world's biggest questions are out there. When you connect with another and another, things just... That's you, to the power of us. It's a human equation that puts you at the heart of everything we do. It means knocking down the walls that limit us. So you can talk to an archaeologist, an artist, a radiographer, to look in the past for the answers of tomorrow. It means letting the ideas out of your head so others can shape them and run with them. To make a surfer invisible, to make retirement living decisions simple, to have a fish teach us to cure motor neurone disease. It means together we can make a synthetic yeast help billions. And it means that working with them lets her hear you. Because when you're powered by our collective, you become more than just you. You become you to the power of us. Macquarie University.
Please welcome back Miss Phoebe Trent. Hey.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It was a really nerve-wracking experience.
Well, you were wonderful.
How well do you think I do?
Oh, fantastically well.
Fumble on my own words.
You're the prodigy.
of television hosting?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I was hoping that the viewers would agree that I'm half as decent as you are.
You're your own protege. Let's not do these comparisons.
Yeah, but you know, like when I got the offer, I was really intimidated because I have to, you know, you're a tough act to follow, and but in keeping with the dare to do spirit of this season, I thought, you know, I would be, you know, an example, right, for the viewers, to kind of inspire the viewers, and hopefully I did okay, and I think Thao Tâm also fared pretty well in her first time playing extreme sports. I personally chickened out the last time I, you know, planned to do bungee jumping. So, but I'm glad that I'm here and I'm glad that I'm doing this.
Yeah, I think it's amazing to see, you daring to do this, to see Thảo Tâm, daring to do something that's out of the box, to see Lương Thùy Linh also to dare to do something, to be in the public eye and to speak English is not an easy task for a beauty queen. So it's really wonderful. I think, our IELTS Face-Off family is a collection of people who are just wonderful people.
Yeah, speaking of the IELTS Face-Off family, I'm particularly interested in the videos that the Voice of the Week candidates are going to dare to send to us. You don't have to dare to do it. Just do it. It always seems impossible until it is done.
Absolutely, and for our viewers to also dare to be better, to speak better, to communicate better, to express their opinions. And for the people that are participating in Voice of the Week, there's a really sweet fruit at the end of the journey.
Yeah, okay. So thank you guys for tuning in, and do look forward to future episodes. We're going to talk to loads more characters, and we're going to hear more from our Voice of the Week candidates. So until next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Good evening. Welcome back to the backstage area, the land of confessions. And my victim today is the beauty queen, Lương Thùy Linh. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm good, very well. And how do you feel after filming?
Well, I feel like I'm so happy and excited at the same time. This is the first time that I'm on IELTS Face-Off show. And I think everything went smoothly. I did great, and the host was so friendly.
That's awesome, but is it the first time that you are participating in an English talk show?
Yeah, this is the first time.
Wow, that's really cool. And I have a private question for you. You are so stunning, so tall. I'm actually very jealous. Like, she's completely overshined me. So, because of your height, have you ever feel embarrassed or shy when you were a kid because you're so tall, so tall compared to other friends?
Well, I have always been taller than my friends. I remember being so inconfident when I was a kid. I remember some girls saying that I was a monster because I was too taller than everybody. But when I grew up, I just realized that this is my advantage to be tall. Like, everyone wants to be tall nowadays. I don't have to be embarrassed about my height.
Yeah, exactly. And looking at her, she's so tall, I'm too short. I'm at disadvantage. So that is the backstage area with Lương Thùy Linh. Thank you so much for being part of the show today. And guys, make sure to stay tuned and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Bye. See you soon. Bye.